Hi, my name is Stevie and I like to write songs. I've had an idea for a Celtic rock song, so I'm going to start that today. Let's go. Why shouldn't I write a Celtic rock song? I'm Irish after all. The type of Celtic rock that I'm thinking about was made very famous by bands such as Thin Lizzy with songs like Whiskey in the Jar and the Horselips with songs like Derek Doom. It was very popular in the 70s and 80s and is still particularly popular in parts of the United States that have a strong Irish heritage, such as Boston. This is not going to be the most original song in the world. We're going to be looking at some of the tropes and cliches that are very common in Celtic rock, the time signatures and the modal type melodies. Let me try and explain what my idea is. So, a couple of days ago I had to leave my car in with the mechanic. And when he called me to tell me the car was ready to collect, I decided, because it was a nice dry, bright day, I would walk to the mechanics to pick up the car. It was a reasonably long walk. Along the way, this idea started coming into my head. It's always been in the back of my mind that I would like to write a Celtic rock song. And that day I decided with this hour walk, it would be a good time to try and come up with some ideas. The hardest thing for me was the lyrics. I couldn't think of anything that I would like to write lyrics about. I always thought that if I wrote a Celtic rock song, it would probably be about some element of Celtic mythology. But I've never actually came up with an idea that didn't feel a bit too cliched or cringy. So then I had this lyrical idea about drinking. Now the thing about Ireland is that we really, really like to drink alcohol. It's part of our culture. If you go out on a Saturday night, your friends will try and buy you pints, and if you say, no, I'm not drinking tonight, they go, what's wrong with you? Are you pregnant or something? And when Irish people go out to drink, they're on a mission to get properly lashed. So I had this idea about a guy who goes out drinking, and every morning he wakes up and decides, I am never drinking again. But unfortunately, he can't stop drinking today because he's too hungover and he needs the hair of the dog. So the next day he will stop drinking, but this is a cycle that goes on and on forever. By the time I arrived at the mechanics, I had most of the main ideas of the chorus and the verses worked out. I was sort of singing the guitar riff in my head with the drums. So I was doing that, and then I was starting to sing along with the lyrics, and I had two verses and a chorus written by the time I got to the mechanics. So what we're going to do today is try and get the two verses and the chorus that I have in my head and try and get it onto Reaper before I forget it. So the main riff goes like this. And then I thought that maybe we could go up an octave. And then the main riff then that would come in as the heavy part as the song starts to begin is just the same riff again, slightly simplified and down on its lowest octave. So that's it. Let's try and get that recorded first. In Reaper, I've set up my normal template that I always start with. We've got the drums, and it's perfect drums, and they're routed out into Reaper on separate tracks with some EQ, compression, and parallel compression on them. I've got the bass, which is using Helix Native, and it's bi-amped. We have a DI bass with just compression on it, and then we have an amped bass with compression and EQ on it. That is using Track Spacer, which is sidechained to the kick drum, so that every time the kick drum hits, the bass guitar dips a tiny bit. We've got two rhythm guitars panned left and right, and they're using my normal rhythm guitar sound, which is the Rev Generator Red Amp into an ML SoundLab IR. I've set up a lead guitar, and that's also Helix Native. It's got some compression, a distortion pedal. It's using the Litigator amp, and it's using two 3 Sigma IRs that are blended together into delay and reverb. I've set up a few vocal channels, but they all basically have the same effects chain. There's some RVox on it, and then there's the Chris Lardalgi vocal channel. This already has compression in it. Now I'm working on the principle that in most recording studios, they record the vocals with a bit of compression already on them, and then they compress them in post as well. So that's why I've got two compressors here. It's emulating the double layer of compression that would typically happen in a recording studio. Then we've brightened up the vocals a bit, taking a bit of the bottom end out. It's got some tight reverb, slapback, and a bit of stereo widening. All the vocals use the same effects chain. And on the master out, We've boosted 100 Hz slightly, cut 500 Hz slightly, and we just have a basic setup here on Brainworks Master Desk, just to add a limiter to the end so that we can hear it at full volume. Right, let's see what we have so far. Okay, so the first thing I noticed when I started recording it is that it's in 6/8 time, and 6/8 time is very common in Celtic rock because it gives you that diddly-dee type sound. I've tried as much as possible to concentrate on the toms because I'm trying to create a sort of lambeg drum boron type sound that's very common in Celtic rock. Let's add the lead guitars to it now and see what we have. Let's see what we have so far. Sounds very, very Irish. Right, so I've recorded the guitars, 2 passes of the guitars, and I've panned them left and right. The thing that I'm trying to achieve here is this idea: if you go into an Irish bar and you see lots of musicians playing, a lot of them will be playing the same tune, and you'll hear different instruments, violins, banjos, mandolins, all playing the same tune together. This is a texture in music called heterophony, where you'll hear lots of instruments and even voices all playing the same melody, but all playing slightly different variations of it. It's common in folk music from all around the world. So I'm going to try and amplify this idea of heterophony by adding some strings now that are also going to play a slight variation of the lead guitar melody. So I've recorded some MIDI of a sampled fiddle. Unfortunately, the sample's not great, so I'm going to try and make it sound a wee bit better by layering some other instruments on top of it. So if we copy this down onto another string track, that probably sounds okay, as long as it blends in well with the lead guitars. It's just layering up the guitars a bit and adding a bit of something. So let's hear it all together now. Right, so I think that's where the vocals should come in. So I think when the vocals come in, they should probably be just using this first intro part again. It'll give enough space for the vocals to appear. Let me hear that. Actually, I think that the drums should probably not be all stoppy starting like that. The drums should probably have some kind of a tom pattern like this one. Maybe if we just take the kick and snare out of it. Yeah, cool. Alright, cool. So I'm wondering now whether I should move on and try and write the music for the chorus, or whether I should just go ahead and record the vocals. Before we go any further, let's look at the lyrics that I wrote. Now, on my walk when I was going to collect the car, I started writing these lyrics, particularly the chorus, and then I had to stop and make a note of them on my phone because I was afraid of forgetting them. So the idea is about Ireland's national pastime, which is drinking. So we have a verse here, and then we have another verse, and then we have a chorus. I'm not going to drink no more. I'm going to be a pioneer. There's a religious group in Ireland called the Pioneers, and they make a vow to never drink alcohol for their whole life. And so that's what I'm saying here. I promise you I'll be stone cold sober. No porter, no whiskey, nor beer. Porter is a generic word for Guinness. And so the chorus goes, but let's have one for the road, my friend. So he's decided that he's going to give up drinking, but not today. Let's celebrate the fact that I'm going to give up drinking by going out drinking. And tomorrow I'll give up the drink. Let's drink till the cows come home. I was thinking every time I repeat the chorus, I'll do a different thing here. Let's drink till the cows come home. And then maybe the second time we'll say, let's drink till it's cold in hell. And if we do a third chorus, we'll come up with a different variation on that. One last night on the tiles for me, then on the wagon is where I'll be. Now we all know that phrase, being on the wagon, giving up the drink. I got work in the morning and a wife on my back. The kids need shoes for school. A final written warning, they're talking about work. Or I'm going to get the sack. I'm through with acting the fool. So it's sort of silly lyrics, but I think it might be a fun song. So I'm looking forward to hearing what it sounds like when we put it all together. I think I'll move on. I've got a stronger idea for how the music should go in the chorus. And so we'll move on to the chorus and then we'll come back and we'll do the verses. So I think for the chorus, we just need these drums. Let's loop them on out a bit more in case we need more. I'll try and record the guitars and bass for the chorus now. So as usual for me, I've recorded 3 passes of the vocals, 1 main vocal and 2 identical vocals panned hard left and right and 6 dB quieter. Let's hear them. I tried my best to come up with a harmony for this as well. That's why I have the extra 2 tracks here. But I couldn't come up with a harmony right now. Maybe I will, but I'm not sure. Maybe after that we should go back to this section here. Let's hear that. Yeah, I sort of come up with something that might actually act as the chorus now, if we do that. One for the road. One for the road. Let's hear it. Right, so obviously the song is going to be called One for the Road now. I think the drums and guitars and bass need to accent that part that we're playing, so we can't use this riff. We'll have to do a slight variation of it with those accents for the vocals. Right, let's listen to the whole chorus. I was planning on this to be the turnaround that brings you back to the next verse, but because I'm doing this now, I need a different turnaround. What if we go back to this? Let's hear that. Don't like the drums stopping like that. Take the drums from the verse, maybe. One Cool. Into the next verse. I think we could probably take this whole thing now and copy it across to here. Now we've got 2 verses and 2 choruses. So for this second chorus, I think we need to record the vocal variation that I was planning. So let's get rid of them and do the vocal variation that I was planning. Right, let's hear the verses. I'm not gonna drink no more. I'm gonna be a pioneer. I promise you I'll be stone cold sober, no porter, no whiskey or beer. But let's have one for the road. I got work in the morning and a wife on my back. The kids need shoes for school. A final written warning. I'm through with acting a fool. The verses sound a wee bit sparse, and I keep hearing an acoustic guitar playing through it. So I think I'll try and add that acoustic guitar part because I think it'll add an extra bit of texture, which would be nice. Right, let's look at these acoustic guitars. I recorded 2 passes on the acoustic guitar and have them hard panned left and right, just like I do with my rhythm guitars. Because on this main... So let's look at the chain for these. So in the first instance, I've done quite a bit of EQ on it. I've recorded these just using the built-in piezo pickup. It had a bit of a honky feel to it, so I've EQ'd out some of that honkiness. And then I've added the CLA unplugged plugin on it. There's not very much going on with the EQ here. Quite a bit of compression, some of the reverbs, and a tiny bit of slapback. So in the track, it adds just a bit of top-end detail into the texture of the song. I'm not gonna drink no more. I'm gonna be a pioneer. I promise you I'll be stone cold sober, no porter, no whiskey or beer. But let's have one. Okay, so let's copy it across to where we need it for the rest of the track because I didn't record the whole track here. Okay, so I think we've laid down the bulk of the song anyway, as far as the intro, the 2 verses and 2 choruses. Probably the next thing that would happen would be we'd go into some kind of instrumental break. So I think we've done enough for this episode. So let's listen to it from the start now and hear what we have. It's so cliched Irish Celtic music. That acoustic guitar does add a nice touch to it. I'm not gonna drink no more. I'm gonna be a pioneer. I promise you I'll be stone cold sober, no porter, no whiskey or beer. But let's have one for the road, my friend. Let's drink till the cows come home. One Cool. Well, there we go. A Celtic rock song. So I'm going to really dig my teeth into the guitar solo and stuff in the next episode and try and experiment a lot more with modal things that you would associate a lot more with Irish traditional music and see if maybe we can come up with some other time signatures as well. Make it a wee bit progressive. Might be cool. Alright guys, so thanks so much for watching this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, help my channel grow. Looking forward to the next episode because I'm going to really enjoy doing some Celtic rock guitar. That'd be a really nice thing for me to experiment with. Thanks guys, I'll see you next time. You guys rock. Yeah.